Now it's my distinct honor to introduce the first keynote speech of this outstanding day of gathering, and that is our own neighbor, our own congressional delegation representative representing the 4th District. Now, Jim Baird is not only our congressman since 2019, I believe, Congressman, but also been outstanding an American, an outstanding leader for the community, and a decorated veteran. He served in the United States Army between 1969 to 1972. Please correct me if I got this wrong, Congressman. He right now serves our country, including as a member of the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology, the very subject we're talking about right here. We are so blessed to have you as our congressional representative. Thank you so much. Please give a warm welcome to Congressman Jim Baird.
Well, good morning. And I want to give you a Hoosier welcome. And also want to tell you, it's not easy to follow the president of Purdue University, but I'm going to make my best effort. And I really do want to thank the hosts of this meeting. I think it's very appropriate and very useful and very meaningful if we're going to maintain our competitive edge around the world, and particularly against some of our adversaries. So I just want to thank the sponsors and the hosts of this meeting, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you and such talented and knowledgeable individuals, and I'm really pleased to see you here at Purdue University, my alma mater, and sharing the ideas that you have about moving our country forward. I got to tell you, Dr. Chang mentioned that I was a Vietnam vet, and I want to tell you this. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about our country, and I learned a lot about other societies around the world. And I love this country. And I do not have a great deal of tolerance for those that don't appreciate what we have here. And so I really want to commend you then for making sure that you present the ideas and the concepts and knowledge that helps bring on a new generation, that helps keep us in the cutting edge of technology and moving this country forward as a country. And I think you have to keep in mind, because you all have a responsibility in doing that. We all do. I think we all provide hope. We provide hope for a lot of cultures around the world, and I don't take that lightly. If you lose hope, and I don't care what you're doing, but if you lose hope, there's not a whole lot of incentive to try to get up every morning and do something. So I think we provide that kind of hope to a lot of cultures around the world, and you share in that responsibility as well as I do. So having said that, I am the congressman for the 4th Indiana Congressional District, which does include Purdue University, and I am a proud, Mr. President, I am a proud Boilermaker, and I'm really pleased to have all of you here to share the university and accomplishments that are taking place here, as well as at the University of Illinois. I don't want to forget the University of Illinois. And then I think having one of our national laboratories, Argonne National Laboratory here, I think that's very special. And it's part of the corridor, and it's very close to Lamont, Illinois. Yes. So anyway, we're glad to have those folks here. So my remarks are about the need for the United States to expand the technological advancements and invest in innovation if we want to remain competitive, and not only competitive, but be dominant in the world stage. And there's no better place to do this than right here in the Midwest. Thanks to entrepreneurs, innovators, scientists, and leaders like you, Indiana and Illinois are poised to be the Silicon Heartland. Maintaining our competitive edge is a top priority of mine and many of my colleagues in Congress. In just the past few years, Indiana has secured several multi-billion-dollar investments to establish semiconductor chip research and production facilities. Not only do these investments establish the Midwest's role in the forefront of American innovation and ingenuity, but they are critical to our national security. I was a supporter of the CHIPS and Science Act, which passed with bipartisan support and was signed into law over 2 years ago. In the past 2 years, you bet. So in the past 2 years, funds for this bill have been used to spur investment, incentivize the production and development of semiconductors right here in the Midwest, create jobs, boost manufacturing, and protect the supply chains from a hostile communist China. With this bill, China has placed chip and semiconductor manufacturing on the forefront of their federal priorities. Why? It is an understatement to say that these little devices power our entire world. How many chips are in the cars that we drive? I learned not too long ago that there's more than 1,500. And I thought I could just take a chip and a piece of copper and hammer up, but 1,500 I might be a little slow at. But anyway, that's amazing to me how many of those are required in the things that we have. They're a foundation of our digital economy, and the chips power our cell phones, TVs, batteries, and computers. They also power just over almost every piece of farm equipment. And I have an agricultural background, so I have a real interest in this, and so should you because of food production. But they are involved in satellites, military vehicles, and weapons systems. And I don't need to tell people like you that. I just reinforcing what you already know. But agriculture is the backbone of the economy here in Indiana, and precision agriculture technologies are critical to our farmers. Today, farmers can look at a digital screen attached to their tractors and or their combines, and they can get a real-time satellite image of their land and providing a real-time soil and drought conditions. And thanks to our initiatives, such as NASA's Planetary Science Program, so see, we're tying these all together. Precision ag technologies improve the ag industry at large and becomes increasingly high-tech. More and more chips are needed in our farm equipment. I think this technology, I mentioned, Dr. Chang, you mentioned, I've been involved in agriculture all my life. But this is one of the few times, or not few times, but this is one of the times I see young people really getting excited about agriculture. And they want to come back and get involved because of the technology that we're using in precision agriculture. And it makes the whole process much more efficient. So you've really contributed with some of the science and research that you've done and contributed to the knowledge base that we have in this country. You've really contributed to that, and I commend you for that. But as precision agriculture improves and the ag industry at large becomes increasingly high-tech, more and more chips are needed in our farm equipment. I already said that. But I want to say that artificial intelligence offers much potential for the agricultural industry, and is too will require the use of even more semiconductors. And so, I have a concern if, we're into harvest season here in Indiana, and boy, it doesn't take very long. But the machines that we operate run hard and fast to try to get the crop in as quick as you can. Every day you delay, you lose some productivity and you lose some crop. So my point there was, if I'm waiting on a chip because my combine won't run, I'm not going to be very happy. So I'm counting on you folks to help do with what Purdue's doing and what the University of Illinois is doing to make sure that we've got an adequate supply of chips without interrupting our supply chain to make sure we keep that equipment running. And then there's a lot of other things that lead into that I think are also important. So I just make one comment about the chips. They were invented here in America, but when the CHIPS and Science Act was passed, we were producing only about 10% of them. And East Asia was producing 75%. And I'm committed to helping, and I know many of you are, to making sure we change that to 75-10 the other way and make sure that we have the capability to do that here in the United States. I could elaborate more on the CHIPS Act. I think you're well aware that Taiwan has been a major producer and that they're in close proximity to China. And so we want to make sure that we help protect those people and their production capabilities and maintain the economic dominance that's necessary for us to be able to be cutting edge and leading in this industry around the world. The Indiana-Illinois Innovation Corridor, and I like to include the Argonne National Laboratory in with that because I think that's an integral part of it. For our success to be a technological center and a semiconductor producer in this country and in this part of the world. Excuse me. So Purdue just launched its first semiconductor degree program for graduate and undergraduate students. And multiple surveys and reports have found that the U.S. semiconductor industry will have a workforce shortage of approximately 70,000 people in the next decade. And that's a huge problem, and that could cause innovation in our workforce to stagnate in the future. So with this program, Purdue is working to help solve the problem, adequately prepare the next generation in our increasingly digital landscape, and meet the growing demand for trained semiconductor engineers. I'm proud to work for Purdue in doing, and I hope to see more colleges and universities, and I think Illinois is probably coming along all right, isn't that right, Chancellor? But anyway, I want to see more colleges and universities follow suit to create and retain talent in engineering and semiconductor industry. 2022 was a big year for Purdue when it announced partnership with Skywater Technologies to build a $1.8 billion fabrication plant on campus's research park that will directly create 750 jobs, and Purdue is collaborating with MediaTek to host the company's first semiconductor chip design center right here in Indiana. So semiconductor manufacturing, SK Hynix, is also investing about $3.8 billion to build a high bandwidth memory HBM, advanced memory packaging plant for artificial intelligence products and advanced packaging R&D facility right here in West Lafayette. And just last month, the U.S. Department of Commerce announced that it has reached a preliminary memorandum of terms, a PMT. Boy, we have acronyms for everything in this world anymore. With SK Hynix has proposed $450 million in direct funding and up to $500 million in proposed loans under the CHIPS and Science Act, and the investment will create opportunity for 1,000 jobs. And we're expecting to see production in chips begin right here in the end of 2028. So I'm proud to see funding that this bill is used to spur the job creation, manufacturing, and investment in new technologies. Our work in Congress to invest in American innovation does not stop there. Last fall, the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology, that the President mentioned, passed legislation to reauthorize the National Quantum Initiative that will propel research into quantum computing, applied research, and demonstrations, all to strengthen our technological competitiveness. It was first enacted in 2018. This initiative accelerated quantum research and development by authorizing new activities, programs, and centers on the National Science Foundation and the National Institute of Standards, and NIST for short, and the Department of Energy. Congressional efforts have sparked robust investment by our tech industry into the development of information systems. Quantum science is one of the world's fastest growing areas of scientific research, and it has the potential to fundamentally change how we approach many aspects of our lives. So the things you're doing, and I think about the space program as well, but the things you're doing really impact all of our lives, and there's not a lot of publicity, I guess I would say, to make sure that the public understands that. So we all have a responsibility to make sure that we share the kinds of things that you discover and the kinds of work that you do to stimulate us being competitive around the world. And Dr. Chang, I got about 2 or 3 more pages, but you know what? I think I've probably said enough, and you're holding your hand over your heart. And so I just want to emphasize how much I appreciate being a part of this, how much I respect you for putting innovation and technology to work for our world and for our country and for the state of Indiana and for our long-term security and for the protection of our nation. So I thank you very much. It's been my pleasure to be here. I wish I could stay all day, but we've got votes at 6:30 back in D.C. tonight, so I gotta get out of here and make sure that I do what you've elected me to do. So thank you very much.